Oh, I didn't light my jazz cigarette. Hey everybody, welcome to Sundays with Napalm. Fucking, it's a show. So I'm joined by no one yet. I threw the links out there, but like, I should be able to bullshit my way through at least an hour today. I am really fucking high. I think I'm like still high from last night. I mean, to be fair, I've already woken boke. That's my new saying for wake and bake. Woken boke. Woken boke sounds really fun. Shoe microphone thing. I'm looking at the chat. Hey, Adam. God, fuck off. I get it. You're turning on the microphone. Ugh. Ugh. I need to stop. I need to fucking. I need to deactivate that fucking program when I'm not using it for Chrome. Yeah, Verica's dick's getting wet and its ass is on fire. America's kind of right. Like, that's why it's called Fire. That's why this edition's called Fire and Water. Like, one fucking coast is on fire, the other is submerged. Because we're gonna get fucking, at least here in Virginia, I forget which one of them. I forget if it's the J1 or the K1. I think we're gonna get the K1 because that one's gonna hit. That one, its tracking is on route towards Georgia, so we're probably gonna get hit by that storm. That's gonna be fun. Hopefully, it doesn't increase in intensity like fucking Irma did, because if it, holy shit, if the storm that's projected to hit Georgia gets up to Category 5, like Irma fucking did, there's a lot more open water between it and Georgia than Irma and Florida. Like, Irma was scary, not just because of how strong it fucking got, which was monstrously fucking mind-bendingly so. Irma was also scary because of how fucking strong it got and how fast. Like, fucking, again, I wish I could remember the names. I know, I don't know, like, I want to say Jared. I want to say Jared is the J1, or Jerome. There's not very many J, like Jim. There's Jim, Jerome, Jared, Jeff. Unless you're one of those jerks who spells it with a G. Anytime I see Jeff with a G, I'm like, Geoff. What kind of fucking name is Geoff? Yes, I finally lit my marijuana jazz cigarette. Hey all, hail. So yeah, I'm fucking just high. Joaquin. Yeah. That might be it, actually. And then I think the K1 is Gene. I think it's Gene. Because, like, I've noticed with the hurricane, like, it's kind of the problem with naming hurricanes after human names. Like, who the fuck's gonna take fucking stupid fucking Irma serious? Like, no one's been named Irma in this country for at least 40 fucking years. It's like Esther or fucking Gertrude. Like, if they were like Hurricane Gertrude, nobody would take that shit serious. Even if it was like, this is a Category 7 storm. Fucking hurricane categories only go up to 5. That's how fucking terrifyingly strong this storm is. Everybody would be like, fuck off. It's named. It's Gertrude. Like, what the fuck is old Gertie gonna do to us? And then everybody fucking dies because it rips. It fucking bifurcates fucking Florida. But nobody took it serious. We should start naming storms after horror movie monsters. That makes more sense to me. Or like just villains in general, like Hurricane Doctor Doom, Hurricane Megatron, Hurricane Morgan Le Fay. Like, I'm gonna start a campaign. Oh yeah, Scrambles the Death Dealer. That was a fucking great one too. God, Metalocalypse was great. You know, I'm surprised Netflix hasn't picked up Metalocalypse. Because Titmouth is still shopping around like the last fucking, like, I forget if they want to do a movie or another season. Jose. All right. Jose's kind of a funny, like, that's also too fucking yeah, like Hurricane fucking Taserface would be a better fucking name than Irma, and Taserface is a lame ass fucking villain to begin with. Hurricane Killer Croc, Hurricane Darth Vader, Hurricane Emperor Palpatine, like, seriously, like, if you start naming hurricanes after fucking movie villains, like, people are gonna start taking that shit more serious. They're gonna be like, oh shit, motherfucking Darth Vader's coming. Hey, Jim Shin. You know what? I wouldn't mind Brendan Small doing some kind of weird, like, fucking high concept fucking album. That could be a lot of fun. Hurricane fucking Ronan the Accuser. Hurricane Moriarty. Hurricane Rick Flag. Jimson could get, I think Jimson couldn't figure out his mic. He was probably, like, Lundy infected him probably. Oh yeah, Lundy like Suyu
Yes.
and Midoriya. Oh wait, I think I heard you.
Test.
I'm hearing stuff.
Did it work that time?
I hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
Apparently G this year was just Gert. Not Gertrude, just Gert.
Seriously,
Yeah.
Gert is something you name a fat fucking bird. It's like, this is my parakeet, Gert.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but like, apparently they did the smartest thing, and like with it, it was like, let's actually cut the book into multiple movies.
One of the few times that was
Because
actually a
Stephen
good
King,
idea.
Stephen King's a fucking wordy bastard. Like, that motherfucker will describe a desk in more detail than fucking most fucking authors, like, side characters get.
I've heard a couple people say they actually played the clown too
Point.
serious.
I'm sorry. They played, like, I do hear, like, Pennywise is like a lot of people are like, he's good. He's not Tim Curry. Like, nobody is. Oh yeah, did you see Tim Curry finally revealed why Mark Hamill was chosen as the Joker over him
Hadn't
for
seen
Batman the Animated Series? He got bronchitis
that.
for
Oh,
being sick, and they
Not
hired
really.
Mark Hamill.
I don't know whether to say that was bad timing or good timing. Because Hamill is one of the best Jokers that is out there.
Yeah, like, we didn't lose. Like, if anything, we won out because like nobody's heard because he did like he recorded the entirety of like I forget the name of the episode, but it's the episode where Joker fucks with that little fat guy.
Actually, I'd call that the episode where Batman.
You know what's
fucks with
great
the
about
little
that
fat
episode
guy.
too?
Because
No,
you're
not
talking
the
about the one
squid.
where Batman
I'm
fakes
talking
his
about the
death,
little
right?
bald guy. No, I'm talking about the one where like it's this schlubby fat fuck and like he like flips off he flips off a dude on the motorway and it turns out it's the Joker and then the Joker just starts fucking with him. It's so great. I love that episode. Like that's the first episode Joker appears in the animated series, and it's like the best episode ever because it's like, yeah, Joker's just fucking with this one guy. Like that's like perfect. Like yeah, Joker's totally a villain who would be like, I'm gonna take the time out of my day to just fuck with this one guy. That's what I'm gonna do. Well, the child sex stuff is weird because it goes on for a really long fucking time. And again, it's Stephen King, so he goes into a lot of fucking detail. I mean, I kind of get like where Stephen King's coming from, but again, it's like, look, Stephen, you write in a lot of detail, and that was like, that was a. I mean, it wasn't like an entire. It wasn't an entire chapter, but there's a couple of pages.
Hmm.
I wonder if it's connected to because I know they had references in Dark Tower to it, but I don't know if Sony is doing it. Sony's apparently Sony's in a lot of trouble now. Apparently, the Venom movie's like 6 months behind production because nobody wants to work on it.
Well, the first one turned out so
Sony
well.
really fucked up. Sony really fucked up in hiring Tim Rothman, the guy who basically did this exact same to Fox. Fun fact, Tim Rothman was the guy who was like, we need to change Deadpool because Deadpool, like, what works in the comic will not work in a movie. Like, nobody would like this character in a movie.
So he's the one who put
Ugh.
the skin flap over his mouth?
And then they fuck it. Yep. And he's the guy who, like, kept fucking kicking, like, being like, no, we're not going to do a Deadpool movie. And then the second they leave, they greenlight the Deadpool movie, and it makes all the fucking money.
You know, odd thought I had about that fake pool incarnation. How does he eat? Like
I guess,
through his
like, it
nose
would
or
just be
something?
his regeneration. Or, yeah, probably maybe a feed-in tube. Or technically, like, he could probably rip open the skin flap to eat. Like, he does have, like, did he ever, I can't remember. I literally only saw that movie once because it's awful. Like, I'll fight fucking anybody on this one. X-Men 3 is nowhere near as bad as X-Men Origin Wolverine. X-Men Origin Wolverine, in my opinion, is the low point of the X-Men movies. Like, 3 is fucking awful and dog shit, but there's barely anything I can say good about Wolverine Origin. I like the guy who played fucking Sabretooth. He was fun. He was a good Sabretooth. And what else? That's legitimately it. You know what? The opening scene with Sabretooth and Wolverine fighting through all the different wars was neat. Yeah, X-Men 3 was I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. The Juggernaut. Also, the new X-Men movie, I don't have high hopes for that because the director's like, I don't want to go too cosmic with it. I want to keep it grounded. I want to make it more focused on on like the human side of the mutants, and it's like nobody wants that. Nobody fucking wants that shit. We've had how many bad movies of that shit? Give us what we want. We want the weird shit in X-Men. You're not
Yeah,
the guy who made fucking Logan.
Yeah, the comic storylines usually alternated between the spectacle and the human side, didn't they? Might want to do that with the movies a little bit.
Yeah, like they're just always like, oh, let's just make everybody fucking sad. It's like, it's like, you know, there's more to being human than just being sad, right? Like I know people like the movie version of fucking Nightcrawler, but I can't fucking stand him. Like, cause it fucking takes, cause like Nightcrawler was one of my favorite fucking X-Men, cause he was like, you know what? I'm gonna be happy in defiance of the fucking world and my situation. Like, I'm gonna put on a fucking smile because somebody has to. And I
Oh,
always
Darkseid.
like that about Nightcrawler, where he's like, like I'm gonna try to always like be positive about shit. Like, he wasn't a complete fucking moron. He knew a bad situation. Like, he would show like sorrow and anger and frustration and shit, but he would always try to be like, you know what? Like, when like people like when the X-Men show up, people need to know that we're here to help. They need to be reassured. They need to be reassured. It's kind of like, again, you know, I hate to bring it up because, you know, it's probably going to summon Lundy and then we're going to fucking bitch about it for 20 hours. But it's why I fucking love All Might from Boku no Hero. Because, like, All Might is like a hero should always be smiling. So, like, everybody knows when they show up, everything's fine. I'm not going to get it too depth into Boku no Hero because, you know, I don't want it to become Undertale where I like genuinely ruin it for people, but it's so fucking good and I want to talk about it all the fucking time.
Bag empty. Bag empty. Come what you eat.
I've gotten part of the way into season so far, and it is very good.
It is. And just wait, season 2's better. Season 1 is just set up.
Oh, God!
So I think someone just got attacked over at Matt's place.
No, my uncle wasn't paying attention where he was going and he stepped on one of the dog's foots.
Aw. Poor doggo.
1 second, Max wants out. You want out? Okay. Well, that killed any fucking train of thought I had. What were you saying before that, Jim?
I've gotten maybe 3/4 of the way into season 1, Boku no Hero. It's pretty cool so far. I'm liking it.
I blubbered like a baby. I blubbered like a baby during the first 2 episodes. I mean, he did actually fall down the stairs one time. That was a weird day.
Mm.
1 second, Ginger wants in the room. Alright. Like here's how good Boku no Hero is, and for longtime viewers, you'll get this. Boku no Hero makes me understand fatherly love. Like watching All Might and how he interacts with the students and stuff, it's like, I get it. I understand it now. I get it.
I was going to say there's, and I mean this in a good way, there's sort of a parallel in All Might's character and Goku's character, or at least what he's supposed to be.
Yeah, well, like the creator of it said, he's like, I base All Might on my 2 favorite heroes, Spider-Man and Goku. And the thing he liked about Spider-Man is that Spider-Man's just a hero to help people. Like, that's Spider-Man's main modus operandi, is he's like, I just want to be a good person. I just want to help people. I have a great power. I have responsibility. And the thing he likes about Goku, and it goes into what I was saying earlier, like, whenever Goku shows up, there's a sense of reassurance. Like, oh boy, Goku's here. Frieza's gonna get his shit pushed in. Like, Boku no Heroes actually made me like Goku again. And fucking Dragon Ball Super is legitimately going out of its way to make me fucking hate Goku.
Haven't watched
I
that
didn't
yet.
even watch the newest episode. I haven't even watched the newest episode of Super this week because I am so fucking pissed about last week's episode. Tien went out like a fucking bitch. Like a fucking dumb fucking bitch. And the best part is, when Tien got eliminated from the Universal Tournament, Vegeta was like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That is one weird thing about that series. The fact that humans become negligible.
And like, you know, me and Lundy, like, again, this goes into how much, like, me and Lundy love Boku no Hero. We literally talked with Scarce for, like, 2.5 hours after the show about Boku no Hero, and then it kind of transitioned into Dragon Ball Super, because because Scarce watches Dragon Ball Super too after a very public spanking like me, and he was not happy. Like, Lundy was just as angry as, like, me and Lundy were like simultaneously yelling at Scarce in stereo about how fucking pissed we are at fucking Dragon Ball's, like, just shitty use of fucking Tien. Like, I don't get it. Like Piccolo gets better. Like, Piccolo does nothing but train, and Piccolo gets stronger. Tien does nothing but train, and he stays the fucking same. I don't get it. And like me and Lundy brought up last night, like, Tien was the first actual real rival in Dragon Ball. Like, it wasn't Yamcha, and it wasn't even Krillin. Like Tien was the first serious rival, like the first serious person to be like, I am better than you, Goku. You need to fucking get better than me, or I will fucking break your arms and legs like I did to fucking Yamcha.
But now the only reason Tien keeps up with any of the threats is because he's basically using blood magic. He uses his own life force to power his attacks, and that's
and they
the
never
only
do
reason he
anything with
hurts
his
anyone.
powers. Like, what happened to the Dodon Ray? Like the Dodon Ray in canon is stronger than the Kamehameha. And it's easier to use. Just pisses me off. Like he goes out like a fucking stupid idiot. He didn't even get like a cool fucking pre-arc. Like he didn't even get a cool pre-tournament like thing. Like Krillin got a cool bunch of character development. Piccolo, Gohan, fucking 17. Boo's not even in the fucking tournament, and Boo got more fucking character development than fucking Tien did.
I think it's odd that after they've had the video games, the Xenoverse stuff, where they actually have human and Saiyan characters balanced, that they've decided to make a series where in universe they're still not balanced in any way whatsoever. It's just strange.
It's this makes me sad because Tien's so cool and he's got so many. Like I was looking for, like there were two characters I was really looking forward to, and that was Tien and Master Roshi, because I was like, we haven't really seen either of these two people fight for like to a full extent since fucking Dragon Ball, and they have a bunch of fucking techniques like they haven't used in years. Like, and they've done a good job with Roshi. Like Roshi's brought back all of his great techniques that like it's always bugged me that like nobody ever used them. Like the one, I forget the name of the technique, but it's where he turns the chi in someone's body into electricity for a short period of time, and it basically paralyzes them because they're being like shocked by like the equivalent amount of electricity to their chi level. It's like, that's such a great move. Like, why hasn't anybody fucking used it? Like, why didn't, like, that'd be a great move for fucking Krillin to have, you know?
That'd probably be fatal to a lot of the more powerful guys in the series.
Yeah. Like, that would have probably fucking fried Frieza's brain, if we're being completely honest. But yeah, like, I'm just glad, like, there's JoJo's and fucking Boku no Hero. I mean, to be fair, like, as much as, like, Dragon Ball Super makes me sad, like, that is not honestly the current state of anime. Like, anime is probably better than it's ever been. Or at least it's easier to get a hold of the good anime now.
Yes, but how do you really feel about the
I mean,
Death Note
yeah,
movie?
it's kind of sad that we don't have the Death Note movie. Ugh. Ugh. They really should have fucking, like, I think I didn't fully say this in the video because I was in a lot of pain and I was fucking doped up on muscle relaxers, so I was even more scatterbrained than usual. But they really should have just made it a sequel to the anime and like set it 10 years after the anime and just made it completely new characters. Like that would have solved a somewhat good amount of at least the character criticisms I have with the movie. It still wouldn't solve the awful tone problems of the movie.
But
You
wouldn't
need
that
a
require
better
writing?
director. Yeah, you need a better director and a better script for that one. But like I said, like if this was like a completely different like group of characters and a different Shinigami, I'd be like, you know what, this is an interesting side story in the Death Note universe. But again, like it has like the big problem is like the movie has two different tones, and neither of them work for fucking Death Note. The fucking there's schlock horror fucking parts that are just like any fucking shitty horror movie in theaters now, where it's just like jump scare, like spooky shadows, that kind of shit. And then the non-scary parts are basically like they feel like the non-scary parts feel like a shitty Lifetime or like ABC Family movie.
So
Like they
admittedly,
really like it really feels like it's a movie about like Light being cyberbullied or something.
I'm not that familiar with Death Note, but
Sorry, Jim.
schlock horror doesn't really sound like its style from what I've seen of it.
No,
Isn't it supposed to be
Death
more
Note
clever?
is a psychological. Is psychological. Yeah, and that's the big problem. Like the two arguably main characters of the Death Note movie, Light and L, are like Light is a fucking just. I'll say it. Like I know we shouldn't be using these words, but Light's an autistic retard in this movie. Like I'm shocked. Like there are points in this movie where I'm like, I was screaming at it, where I was like, you do not deserve this clever fucking moment. You have built to none of this. And the same goes for fucking L. L, like, and to be fair, L in the anime is basically a weird, like, barely high functioning autistic guy. Like it's very he's very fucking he's a very just weird character for lack of a better term. And in this movie, he's just more of a brash fucking asshole. Like that's his kind like there's a moment where he figures out Light's Kira, and they show none of the fucking reasoning behind it. They just show L like basically jumping up and running outside of a building, and it's like, how did he figure that out? Like, how did he do that? You've given me less to go on than an episode of Sherlock movie. At least Sherlock shows the fucking bullshit swirling around his fucking head.
Decision by committee? Cut it out
Give
because
us
they
a
didn't
little
think the
bit of
audience would
fucking
understand it?
symbolism. Maybe it's just like they just bungle fucked it. Like, and again, like one part is like them making these characters Light and L and Ryuku. And to be fair, like Misa, like they fucked up her character, but she's kind of like L. And she's more of like the lady, like the chick in this movie's more fucking L than I mean not L. Like she's more Light than fucking Light actually. Like Light Turner. His name's Light Turner every time. Every time they mention his last name, I just think of like Light was an average kid who no one understood. Mom and Dad and Vicky always giving him demands. Then one day in his bedroom, what did he find? A crazy little notebook with a Shinigami to grant him his wish. Death note, death note, death note, da 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 da. It's stupid. I hate it. I hate that fucking movie. And again, like I hate it more honestly than Ghost in the Shell. Because, like, at least this movie, like, it did do things I like. It did do interesting takes on Death Note stuff. Like, I like how in this version of Death Note, like, the police and the people who are part of the cult of Kira were more open about it. Because that's just, like, that's just America. Like, if there was a crazy vigilante guy who had god powers, yeah, people in America would totally be like, yeah, Kira's cool. We like him. Oh my god, somebody made a Fairly Odd Parents that I'd imagine it fucking thing. Because pretty much every review I've seen, even the positive ones, are like, why did they call him Turner? It just makes me think of the Fairly Odd Parents.
Is it like Light Switch or something?
Fairly Odd Parents has ruined Oh, sorry, Jim. Yes.
You like a pun? He's a light switch. He's a light turner.
Oh, I
That's the
didn't
only
even
thing I can think
think
of.
about that. God, if that is the case, I hope somebody punches the writer who came up with that. Oh God, damn it, Jim, you made it even worse because now I'm like, the more I think about it, I'm like, that's fucking what it is. Because, okay, to give you a little history behind the director writer of this movie, because I couldn't remember the movie he did, because I knew there was a movie he did, and I fucking hated it. And so, and it has a lot of similarities to actually Death Note. He did You're Next. If you remember that movie,
Sorry.
it was basically like, hey, it's a home invasion movie, but instead of the people invading the home being like the bad guys, the actual monster is one of the people in the house to begin with. Like, that sounds like a great premise, doesn't it, for like a horror movie, especially in like the mid to late like 2000s when like torture porn and home invasion horror movies were like at their zenith. The problem is
That could be a
he
good
made
twist.
it into a bullshit fucking comedy.
Oh. That
He
would not be a good
basically
twist.
tried to make it into Cabin in the Woods, and it wasn't Cabin in the Woods. And I fucking hate Your Next so because again, like, I didn't know it was a comedy going into it. I just heard that premise and I was like, that sounds like such a great premise. I'm so fucking sick of like the same fucking home invasion horror movie. Like, this sounds like an actual fun inversion of that fucking trope.
Where instead of the one killer gets in and it's a
And to
family
be
running from him, it's the several thieves get
Yeah,
in
like-
and they're running from the one guy at the house who's actually a murderer. That does sound like a good idea, but
yeah, like it took like a couple of more years for them to make an actual serious movie out of that premise. Don't Breathe. And it was great. Like, Don't Breathe is a really good fucking like thriller horror movie because like these guys they're like, oh, let's go rob this blind man, like this will be fucking easy, and it's like, no, the blind man is a really fucking scary guy.
yeah, that
But yeah, like, I hated fucking Your Next so fucking much.
because it's already an ironic premise, but to start out just making it a comedy does seem a bit of a waste.
Well, Antichrist is a better movie, period, than Your Next. Like, Antichrist is one of my favorite artsy, fucked up movies. Like, it's not a movie I'm like, oh boy, I want to watch Antichrist again. It's like, no, I'm happy I saw it and I'll watch it again, but it's not like my favorite movie in terms of like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I'll watch that at a drop of a hat. If somebody's like, hey, you want to watch Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas? I'm like, yes. Yes. I got to be in a really specific mood to watch Antichrist. And yeah, Antichrist is probably a better horror movie than Your Next. Fucking Cabin in the Woods is a better horror movie, honestly, than like, because that's the thing. Like, Cabin in the Woods, like, it was a comedy, but it did have a good fucking mystery to it. Because they doled out the information of what was really happening very slowly. So yeah, like, oh boy, it was fucking like, yeah, it's a funny movie, but it's like, what's up with this government facility? Why are they doing these things? What is happening?
Horror and comedy do have a lot of good combos. One of my favorite horror movies is Black Sheep. Ever seen that one? Ever seen that one?
Yes.
It's like the Irish countryside.
I wish they
with a
would
guy
do more
who's got
horror
a-
comedy. Like, it's it's so easy to fuck it up. Because again, like, look at your necks. Like, you have to have a good balance.
Although, to be fair, Black Sheep doesn't have comedy moments. It just has a comedy premise, and then it plays it completely straight the entire time.
That's something else too I'd like to see. Like, more movies where it's like, we're gonna have a really ridiculous premise, but like, have you seen the Krampus movie?
Not yet.
I mean, there's a lot of Krampus movies, but there was like,
One good one?
there was a big budget Krampus movie, and it was, yeah, it was so fucking good. Like, the Krampus is legitimately this really fucking terrifying monster, and they make great use of like people being stranded in a blizzard, and the powers are, and like all the electronics are out and shit. Like, they have really good use of like silence and like the right moment to have like a fucking roof beam creak. Look, Monsieur, I'm not gonna get into like Lars von Trier isn't like a genius. He made the fucking Psycho remix. Like, also he made Nympho, which is fucking complete shit. But like, he fucking nailed Antichrist. Like, he did good with that one. He gets a reward. God, I hated the fucking Psycho remake. Like, I still don't understand the reasons behind him doing that. Behind him being like, I'm gonna make a shot-for-shot remake of Psycho. The only thing I'm gonna change is at the end of the movie, instead of Vince Vaughn saying something, I'm gonna dub in an old lady. Tucker and Dale versus Evil is a really good horror comedy. He really is, Mansoor. Like, I wouldn't say he's as bad as like, who's the guy? Who was the guy who made not Boyhood? Not Boyhood. Fuck it. Who's the guy who made fucking Thin Red Line and Tree of Life? Like, I've never liked any of the Terrence Malick. I've never liked a single one of fucking Terrence Malick's movies. Like, I can't, like, off of the top of my head, I can't, like, at least with Lars von Trier, I could be like Antichrist. Everything else might be shit, but at least he made. It's like M. Night Shyamalan. Everything he made was shit except for Unbreakable. And I think even M. Night Shyamalan realizes that now, because I think that's the reason that Split is connected to Unbreakable and not Sixth Sense. Because I'm gonna be completely honest, I predicted fucking like a third through the fucking Sixth Sense. I predicted that fucking twist. Like, the first time I saw it, I was like, Bruce Willis is dead. That's the twist. You know, out of all of like the mainstream artsy directors, I think Aronofsky's probably consistently the best. I can't think of anybody else. Like, there might be somebody else I'm forgetting. I was legitimately sad when Aronofsky didn't do his Batman movie, even though it was really it was a really super weird idea. But it's like, you know what? Aronofsky could make this work. So, sorry, I was taking a hit. I will be right back. I gotta go bathroom. Jim, babble for a bit. Babble for a minute.
So, I'm not very interesting. Um, um, yeah, and yeah. Literally nothing is new, Monsieur. That's why I don't have topics, things. Yeah. I recently ripped a surprise for Matt for a very public spanking.
And a back.
That was interesting. I had to go through 3 different sets of software and 2 different peripherals to get a VHS tape to rip onto a digital format. The first one I ordered, the CD was a useless piece of plastic. Yeah. Honestly, there's just so much going wrong with the American government and everything. It's hard to keep all of it straight sometimes.
Nice. I'm back.
I tried.
You know, as I was going to use the bathroom, I was like, oh, you know what? Guillermo del Toro. He's probably the most consistent, big budget, artsy director. At least in my opinion. Because I don't think there's been a single Guillermo del Toro movie I've hated. I mean, public speaking is, I mean, or you could just be like me and just get to the point of inebriation where you don't care what you say. Like last night, I got so high, I talked about fighting babies and animals I want to beat up. Very public speaking really fell apart last night. Not gonna lie, I'm to blame. But you know that stands by what I says. Giraffes, they're stuck up pricks and they need to be taken down a peg or two.
Well, at least you're only figuratively punchy when you're high, instead of literally punchy when you're drunk.
Yeah.
Instead of literally punchy when you're drunk.
Yeah. To be fair, I've always punched like inanimate objects, so you know. I'm always theoretically to be well, Dobu was the Michael Vick of babies. I don't know. I'm just awful.
Apparently, Guillermo, is going to be doing a Pinocchio movie.
Yes. That's gonna be like I'm like normally I'd be like who gives a shit about Pinocchio? Like fuck that shit. But like since it's Gail del Toro, I'm like it's gonna be the weirdest fucking Pinocchio movie ever.
I've seen several Pinocchio movies. Really, only the Disney animated one was
There are some weird ones.
good.
You ever see the weird live action Italian one?
I think so, or maybe.
Because it got like a theatrical release here in America and it got dubbed. And like the weirdest part of it had like a grown man as Pinocchio. So it's like just imagine like Pee Wee Herman playing Pinocchio in a Pinocchio movie. It's
That actually wouldn't be that bad.
look, Age of Ultron is overwhelmingly adequate. It's fine. I mean, I get why Age of Ultron gets a lot of hate because it is the second Avengers movie, and let's be honest, it's a disappointment.
You know,
I really want to see a villain team up, but Marvel's killed off most of their villains.
that is something I don't get about the comic book
Sorry,
movies.
Jim.
A lot of them that are out there, they always kill off the villains. But in the comic series, it's always more vague so that they can come back.
Yeah, like some of the villains you can just willy-nilly. Like Ultron, he's a robot. You can always pull up like out your ass. Like Ultron had a backup. There's a backup Ultron, like just over there. Like if they only panned the camera like 3 feet over that, like to the left, you would have saw the backup Ultron, but you didn't.
Well, also he was on the internet, so literally.
Yeah, the guy who made Life is Beautiful. That fucking piece of shit. Life is Beautiful is like if you want to find like an artsy movie you really want to fucking hate and nobody will fucking judge you for hating it. Life is Beautiful is a good one to watch. It's basically the day the clown cried. But somehow even worse and more sappy. You know how he got an Academy Award? Because the Academy Awards are fucking bullshit. They gave fucking Suicide Squad is an Academy Award winning film. Fucking, they mean nothing.
You mean the 2-hour-long trailer?
I fucking, oof. Like, I've said it before and I'll say it again. As much as I like smashing Batman versus Superman over its head, El Kabong fucking style, Suicide Squad is legitimately the worst fucking thing in the DC cinematic universe. Like, it's fucking just shit. And it's not even fun shit like Batman versus Superman. There's like, if you're a very nitpicky person, Batman versus Superman is like the perfect bad movie to watch because there's legitimately something dumb in every fucking scene of that movie.
Now, Matt, don't get ahead of yourself. The Justice League movie hasn't come out yet.
They're already saying the reboot. Like, there's already plans to reboot the DC Cinematic Universe. They've already canceled the Cyborg and Green Lantern movies. And rumor has it that the Flash movies is being rewritten as a Flashpoint movie. So basically, they can keep all of the things they like, i.e., Wonder Woman, and get rid of everything else.
Well,
And it's all because DC was too fucking proud to admit Marvel fucking beat them to the punch in making a cinematic universe. They did it. They were like, we're too prideful to copy Marvel and what they did and take our fucking time and take like 5 fucking years to set up the solo movies and then do Justice League like that.
has anyone figured out why they're using a different Flash from the one they've got in their current series? Because I've been hearing good things about the series.
I don't know. Like the Flash series, like it's kind of plateaued a bit. But yeah, it's fun. Like the Flash series is what a Flash series should be. It's fun and goofy and does a lot of weird fucking out there ideas.
I mean, Marvel folding Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in with their universe, it helped both, I think.
Also, Inhumans is apparently terrible. Like Inhumans is apparently getting like no positive reviews whatsoever.
Mm.
Sorry, I'm typing down tags so I can remember them. Okay. I should just fucking make Boku no Hero one of the fucking standard tags on the channel. Death Note. That's enough. Yeah, fuck it. It just makes me sad. Like how
Yeah,
DC's
Monster.
just fucked everything up.
Pulling Martian Manhunter out just to put Cyborg in was kind of an odd choice. A friend of mine said it's probably because they needed a Iron Man analog or something. Like they're literally trying to make a mirror image of the Avengers movies.
You know what's sad about DC? They could have honestly, they could have set up the universe with 3 movies: Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman. Those movies, you could have had a side story with one of the lesser known DC characters leading up to leading up to fucking Justice League. So in Superman, you could have had Cyborg or Flash. In Wonder Woman, you could have had Aquaman, and in Batman, you could have had Martian Manhunter. Like, honestly, they didn't need the 5 movies Marvel did. They just needed 3 movies focused on the core pillars of the DC universe: Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. And then everything else could have fallen into place. They needed to nail those 3 fucking characters, and they fucking didn't. They only arguably nailed one of them. I know people like Ben Affleck's fucking Batman, but let's be honest here. He was a fucking dolt in fucking Batman versus Superman and just a fucking murderous psychopath. And Superman, fuck that guy. Like, it goes into, like, the whole thing, again, going back to, like, fucking the Death Note movie. Like, the big thing Marvel cracked, like, the one fucking lesson all these Hollywood companies should have been taken from what Marvel did, but they fucking didn't. They took, like, oh, people like cinematic universes. That's why Marvel succeeded. No, the reason why the Marvel movies are good, even though, let's be fucking honest, they're fucking paddlum. They're fucking just, in terms of, like, overall quality, they're just good. Like, I love them. Like, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's like, I don't think, like, I can't honestly say any of the Marvel movies are in my top 10, like, favorite movies of all time. Maybe top 20, and that's like Guardians of the Galaxy, because Guardians of the Galaxy is a really fun fucking space opera. Like, as much as I love the Marvel movies, like, they're fucking just fun. Like, they're fun movies, and that's all they need to be. But, like, the thing that fucking Marvel nailed that every other fucking asshole doesn't get is you fucking adapt the characters. You bring over the fucking traits that people like about them. Like, you don't fucking try to do a weird fucking deconstruction of fucking Captain America. You just show people, like, this is why people in the comics love Captain America. Because he hates fucking bullies, and he's always going to fucking do the right thing. That is Captain America's character. Like,
Also-
Iron Man. Iron Man is a fucking asshole, but he constantly feels regret, and he's always trying to be better.
Also, DC seems to be stuck in the dark and gritty hole.
Yeah, I don't get that either. Like, what pisses me off, Jim, like, have you ever heard this when people are like, the reason Superman movies haven't worked is you can't do Superman like today. Like,
I've heard it.
Superman is a character who so that's bullshit for two reasons. One, that was the whole point of the fucking original Superman movies from the 70s. Like, the whole meta narrative of fucking the first Superman movie from the 70s is, why do the 1970s need someone like Superman? So that fucking goes out the window because they figured out a fucking way to do it in the 1970s after the fucking Vietnam War, for Christ's sakes. So, like, don't fucking blame me if fucking, like, it's not Superman's fault if fucking movie writers are fucking shit. Now.
Is it just they don't think they can do
secondly,
it?
Captain America was an arguably harder fucking character to do than Superman. Like, let's be honest here. Captain America has a lot more fucking hurdles to jump over than Superman's costume isn't the fucking American flag, for fucking starters. Oh man, like, fucking, like, this always fucking pissed me off when I used to talk with Kalens. Like, Kalens was always fucking mad that in the first Avengers movie, that line that Superman had, I mean, not Captain America had, where, like, Black Widow was like, when Thor shows up and Black Widow's like, he's a god, you don't want to fight him, and, like, Captain America's like, there's only one god, ma'am, and he doesn't dress like that, and like, Kalens always fucking just brought up that fucking line. And I was like, it's a fucking joke. It was a joke. He's from the 1930s. What the fuck do you think somebody from the 1930s would do if you were like, see that guy over there? He's a god. But yeah, like, I don't, like, they fucked up by giving Superman the fucking objectivist. And I'm not saying an objectivist can't tell a compelling superhero story. The fucking guy who wrote Spider-Man fucking Steve Ditko was a fucking objectivist, and he created fucking Spider-Man. So you can figure out fucking super heroics. You can do that as an objectivist. Zack Snyder, though, is just shit. And also, Superman is basically pure altruism, you know?
Well, the Marvel movies, to be fair, they're not completely optimistic, but they're also not completely dark and gritty either. It's like DC's trying to.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. The Marvel
dark and
movies,
everything.
like, yeah, you can say the Marvel movies are more jokey because they have a lot more like snappier, wittier dialogue, and like Iron Man's there, and 90% of Iron Man's dialogue is jokes.
But they also
But,
don't
like,
overplay it either.
That's what makes it feel real. Because, you know, like if you're doing something like quote unquote realistic, the real world isn't all doom and gloom. Like, look at right now. Like, half of the fucking United States is underwater, half of it's on fucking fire. We don't know if we'll be fucking nuclear annihilated, yet everybody's still fucking living life. Like, people are laughing, they're crying, they're fucking getting angry about stubbing their fucking toes.
People are lining up to fire firearms at the hurricane.
Yeah, like even in the face of fucking Armageddon, life goes on. Like, and the DC movies don't acknowledge that. They're just like, everybody's sad all the fucking time. And it's like, that's not the world. That's what a fucking 13-year-old emo writing in their fake death note fucking thinks the world is. You know, Mansoor, it goes back to, like, I forgot to fucking bring this, like, going back to Death Note, and I think I brought this up in my review of it. But, like, it goes back to, like, how they fucked up Ryuk's design in the Death Note movie. Like, they just made him repulsive. And, like, that's not the point of the Shinigami from Death Note. Like, they're grotesque and alluring at the same time, because they're like an entire race of the lady in the radiator from Eraserhead. Like, death in the context of Death Note is both a repugnant and appealing idea. Like, there's like, death isn't a clear-cut thing. And they fuck that up by just like, let's make Ryuk look like he's made out of chewed bubble gum. I like the eyes. They got the eyes down good. So, you know, got that at least.
Special effects from a flat medium to a
Death Note
3D
just
medium.
makes-
Special effects from a flat medium to a 3D medium.
The fucking shitty, like, live action Japanese movie did a better job. And, like, Ryuk in that movie looks like fucking Roger Rabbit from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. But at the same time, it's like, you know what? That works better in the context of this story and shit. Like, Ryuk is a creature from outside the material plane. So, like, yeah, he probably would look weird and fucking out of place, and there'd be like a weird uncanny valley thing happening with him. Again, it goes back into like both repugnant and alluring. Like, that's death.
I mean, I've heard the argument that you can't take an animated series or film or what have you and turn it into live action. And I wouldn't go that far, but you are cutting out a part of a medium that makes it really easy to do special effects and trying to replace it with something else.
Yeah, but there's yeah. I mean, yeah. It all depends on like the anime. Like, if somebody was like, "We're doing a live action version of Space Dandy," I'd be like, "Why the fuck are you doing that?" But if somebody was like, "We're doing a live action version of Sweetness and Lightning," I'd be like, "Okay, yeah, that's like a really super down the." Then again, like with Sweetness and Lightning, I'm like, "There's no way you'd ever find a little kid as cute as the little girl in Sweetness and Lightning." Like that little girl, like after watching a couple episodes of Sweetness and Lightning, you'll be like, I wish I was a parent. I wish I had a like an adorable little girl. That came out weird. It's a good show. Like it's not one of those creepy fucking little girl sex shows. It's more of a show about like a single like this guy, he had a wife and his wife died of like protagonist disease or something. I don't know. They don't make it clear. But like he's like raising his daughter on his own and he's like a good father, but the one area where he can't really provide for her as much as he would like to is cooking because he's got like too much shit to do, so he's been like giving her a lot of pre-packaged prepared meals. And long story short, they end up meeting up with one of his students and she teaches him how to cook. It's a nice little series. Like, it's a good thing. Like, I like watching it after I watch all my shonens.
Nice little slice of life.
Because I'm like, I need something. Yeah, I need me a nice little slice of life, especially since Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid has ended. Although Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid was a lot more fanciful because Dragon Maids. Also, I'm going to say it too. Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid probably has, in my opinion, the best lesbian couple in any anime I've ever seen, and one of them is a fucking dragon. Oh man, and they have like a little cute, like semi daughter character who's like kind of like they look after her, but like she's not like really the daughter, but like she's like a super young dragon.
I haven't
I
watched the
know,
anime yet.
fucking Finn. Like, I remember somebody was telling me like you need to watch Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, and I was like, I'll watch it. And then I was like, oh my god, this is legitimately fucking really funny and heartfelt. I love the fucking Finn. Okay, one of my favorite character is Fenrir. He's like this Sephiroth looking dude in his human form, and he's like this really kind of like dragon supremacist kind of guy, but he ends up liking humans because he discovers video games. And in particular, he really loves Dark Souls, and he moves in with like this guy, and they become gaming buddies. It's just the fucking best.
I haven't watched the anime yet, but I have read the manga, and it seems to be a story about exploring different kinds of personal relationships. You've got best friends, you've got parent relationships. It's an interesting take on a storyline.
Yeah. Also, a little bit about prejudice and acceptance. Although that might go into the spoilers with like the last arc when like Daddy Dragon shows up. But yeah, I fucking like it. It was a really great show, and it like I'm kind of sad like it's not continuing, but at the same time, I'm like, look, it was a really good completed story. Like, if anything, a continuation would just make it shit. It would have more time to be just like I'm tired of this.
It's interesting how a lot of the more interesting, fanciful storylines that have been coming out are the ones that take the epic fantasy and then just show like slice of life stuff happening around it.
What is it, Konosuba? I've been getting into that one. That's like one of those. It's one of the. There's a ton of them. Another world animes where it's like, guy from the real world gets transported to a fantasy world, but it's like it's like they spend more time like establishing like the grunt people of the world. Like the first like episode, like him and his companion basically like they end up running up too much of a bill and they have to work at like they have to work in this town building like doing menial labor and shit. And it's like them there for months. It's like a montage, but it's a really well done montage where like you get the whole experience where it's like they started off really hating the job and like nobody likes them, but over the months like they get used to the job and they get really good at it, and then they start warming up to the people and they start having fun and shit.
The
Also, too,
framing,
every fight, like whenever they do get into fights with like monsters and shit, like it's super like because again, the dude is from like the real world. He's not like a special swordsman or stuff. Like he almost gets killed by an orc the first time they fight an orc. Also, my favorite part of it, Konosuba, is the black mage character because it's making fun of a bunch of RPG tropes. Like people, when they find out she's in town, they don't want her into town because all she knows is destructive magic, and everybody's like, "Why would you let this person into our town? Like, get her the fuck out of here!"
they don't go the well. She can also light campfires angle kind with it.
No, because she can only make like fucking Hiroshima size blasts. Like she's great. Like, and the best part is she refuses to learn utility magic. Like she sees it as a personal insult whenever somebody's like, maybe you should learn like not to destroy stuff. And she's just like, well, what's the fucking point of magic then?
That is a more and more common
It's a
framing
great show.
device.
Like I liked it. I like.
Um, the framing device of dying and waking up in a fantasy world or something, or being reborn. It's becoming more common in visual novels and written novels in Japan right now. It's a trend.
Yeah. I forget the name of it. I forget the like the Japanese name of it. One second, Bradley needs me to help him find his scooter. Bradley's looking for a scooter. Alright. But yeah, like I think it's Akai. They might have taken it back over to Millens. See, I can't like, and a lot of them are just crap. Like I forget that there was one of them I had high hopes for. It was like the main shtick of it was a guy had a cell phone. Like that was like, oh, I'm in a fantasy world, but I have a cell phone. But they didn't really do anything. Like they played it like way too serious.
Like, and then it runs out of battery power.
Not even that. Like when it came to like the fact that the cell phones still fucking worked, they were completely fanciful with that, but like everything else was just played way too like it was just kind of it was like fucking Gate. I hate fucking like Gate has like such an awesome premise to me where it's like a magical gate opens and then like a feudal like invades the real world and then we just fight them back with the military because you know we like fuck dragons and shit. We have Apaches.
And rocket launchers.
But yeah, Gate fucking goes. Yeah, Gate goes like way too fucking serious with its premise, where it's like this premise could open itself up to a lot more comedy. Like that's my favorite, like Another World animes is the ones that are like, let's have fun with this trope. Let's have fun with this shit.
I did read one manga, and I don't know if they're going to turn into an anime, but it's a guy who he plays a really douchey PvP character in an MMO, and then he gets summoned to another world as his MMO character. And then because he's such a social reject, he has to stay in character or he's going to have a mental breakdown. So he's playing this Dark Lord of the Underworld super necromancer guy, even though he's really just a nerd. What is it called?
Oh god, I'm muted. I'm so sorry, Jim. I was muted this entire time. I was blabbing away.
Oh,
I was talking about I can't remember the name of the show, but there's this. It's kind of a show aimed more towards children, and it's kind of educational. But a bunch of people get like modern day people get transported to like a primitive fantasy world, and the whole premise of the show is them creating a functional nation state.
Hmm.
And it teaches you about like government and shit, and it's like they do it really good because they lean like and maybe because it is aimed for children, so they don't take it 100% serious. So there is a bit of humor, but when it comes to like the nation building stuff, like they're 100% serious. But when it comes to like the characters and stuff, and it's like, we can have fun with this. Sword art is. I would change one thing, Mansoor. It doesn't become a quirky relationship anime. It becomes a psychotic relationship anime. I like. It's why, as much as I want to, I want to keep making fun of Lundy for liking No Game, No Life, but like, I have to say, I appreciate No Game, No Life because it acknowledges that the fucking characters are antisocial, maybe psychopaths.
I have a friend who really
Like, I
likes
like that.
SAO. And I've tried to
Like,
get into Sword Art,
like,
but I've played too many
you want to know my
MMOs.
experience with Sword Art? I literally, when I first watched Sword Art, Jim, I literally watched it out of order. I watched season 3 after season 1, and I couldn't tell the difference. It made no discernible impact in terms of like my understanding of the characters and their relationships with one another. Like I understood it all. That's how fucking bad of a series Sword Art Online is. You can watch it out of order and it makes not an ounce of difference. Sorry, Jimson, but yeah, I hate it.
I guess I've sort of ignored the relationship stuff in anime usually. I don't know. It just kind of rolls over me. But the part that really tore me out of SAO was it's not a real MMO.
They really focus on it. And you know, do you watch Mother's Basement?
Haven't seen it.
They're an anime YouTuber. They video where like they've done a bunch of videos on Sword Art Online, but they did a video where it's like Sword Art Online is a bad video game. Fight me. He goes through like just like this, like if this was a game, nobody would play it. Nobody would play it after a week.
I have to agree with them on all 3 of the different games that are in the 3 different seasons. The FPS isn't a real FPS. Yeah.
Yeah, like the FPS is like, because it's like the FPS people wouldn't want to play it because it's based off of fucking stats and shit and not just pure fucking skill, which is what FPSs fucking are all about. Like, why would people be like, I want to play this game where like my actual reflexes and skill don't come into play? Also, nobody figured out like the fucking like the beam saber fucking bullshit exploit. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know how obsessive people are with fucking video game, like discovering every secret in a video game?
Exploit comes out, 60% of the population adopts exploit. It usually.
I mean, like, look at fucking a game like League. I know it's not like 100% comparative to an MMO, but like, look at a game like fucking League of Legends and how much the fucking meta fucking like dominates that game. Like the meta of like, because that was like, I think the big Mother's Basement's big argument for all 3 games is like the meta game for these games would be a complete and utter mess. Like in the first game, like there's no healing class. There's just attack classes. No, wait, there is one healing class, but it's completely fucking useless. So you have like just attack classes, and there's like a tank, but it's not really a tank. It just, instead of using a sword, it uses a sword and a shield, and that's what makes it a tank. But any more damage than, so what makes them a fucking tank?
Yeah.
I hate I hate fucking Sword Art Online so fucking much.
And then the movie happened.
Like, oh god, the fucking movie.
Well, the weird thing about the movie is it's a plot point that they're basically reusing all the code from the old game, and the whole game that they're playing is this hack
It's
job.
like, how did the government, like, the government's not like figuring this shit out? Like, they don't have shit put into place to be like, hey, what's going on with the nerve gears again?
Also, they go on about this innovation in the nerve gear and everything, and they don't go into the obvious innovation in battery power because that's how much energy it would take to make those stupid little head devices burrow into your brain. I really don't think the headgear would have actually been able to do what they said it did without having some kind of really nasty battery in it.
None of it. It's just dot hack made more fucking sense. And you know what? I know a lot of people like dot hack, but like, watch it again. Dot hack is not that fucking good. Dot hack is adequate, but it gets really bad after the first season. Also, they never really answered like any of the real questions of that series. Like, I wonder why I dot hack. Like, I like the video games. If for nothing else, I like the weird random levels where sometimes you get like floating giant corpses in the sky. That was a neat aesthetic. But yeah, like, I think, in my opinion, because it's all opinion, I think Sword Art Online is the just worst anime to get a popular fandom. Even fucking, even like Neon Evangelion, I'm like, I I hate Neon Evangelion, but I get it. I get why people like it. Sword Art Online, like, I'm like, I don't get this. Like, in a good like video game, it's not a good story. The characters are unlikable fucking psychopaths. The fights aren't like, I guess maybe, yeah, that the fights were kind of okay. I'm so glad Attack on Titan came and basically like took all the wind out of Sword Art Online's sails. And then I'm even happier Boku no Hero came. Well, technically, I guess One Punch Man came and took the sails out of Attack on Titan first. Big problem with it is I read the manga because I found a place where I could read the manga for free. So it goes into a real anti-natalist direction, and I can't stand it. Like, it's a weird. I don't know if that subset of anime. It probably does have a name. Like, every fucking genre or subgenre has a name in anime, but like, anti-natalist like anime really fucking grinds my fucking shitter.
The world is full of suffering, so just end it.
Anyways, I just noticed we've been doing this for, yeah, like a win. Like, I gave Angus a win called Amnesia, which technically probably isn't the worst anime movie I've ever seen, but it's the one that makes me the angriest. Like, whenever that movie pops up on a very public spanking, I'm not going to be happy like Ultimate Teacher or Dark Myth or fucking Mad Bull 34. I'm going to just be like, oh, I fucking hate this movie. So yeah, I just noticed we've been going for 90 minutes, so I'm going to end this here. But yeah, Jimson, thanks for showing up.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so I'm not really good at ending stuff. So, yeah, bye. Bye, everybody.